Hello everyone, this is Mary. Welcome to the show. Hope you have your coffee ready because now is time to start chatting with Mary over a cup of coffee. I hope that right now nobody's in the room, so we're just going to let it go at that. And we're going to have a couple live conversations today. So I'm going to have on as a guest Keegan Reid, as well as my good friend Lisa. And we have a couple things that we want to talk about. One is on Bigfoot, and then there's another one on standing behind your morals, standing behind self-empowerment, I guess would be a good word for it, because we're living in a time, it's called the end days, meaning end days of the old paradigm, and we're starting new time, which is starting of the new paradigm. So with that, what happens is you're going to see a lot of people being exposed to truths. Because in order to correct a problem, first of all, you have to know what the problem is and where it exists. Then, once you've got that, then you can start working on it. And but the only way that you can really do it and do it right is to become self-empowered. And that's what I'm all about, is self-empowerment, and so is Lisa. So we're going to, I'm going to try, now I've never done this before. So what I'm going to do is, to do this interview, I'm going to try it first with Skype. All right? And see if that works. If not, then we'll try it going directly through the computer. And I'm going to be using the telephone to do the Skype, all right? So I want to just get that Skype set up. Hi, Lori. How are you? You're the first one in. And I'm not seeing my... Oh, there's Skype. Anyone that does want to speak with me, you can, with these shows... You can use my Skype and contact me through Mary.Sutherland. Mary.Sutherland.57. Welcome, Antilo. Welcome to our show. This is my new show. I've got several other shows on that I live stream, but right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to find sign in using email, phone, or Skype. Okay, so I gotta try it like this. I'll use my email first and see if that... hold on just a second. I've never done this before, so you gotta bear with me on this one. It says now I gotta use my... Oh, wait. Let's see. What am I doing? Let's go back. Once I get this done the first time, I should be okay. So what I want to do is go back, and I'll use my Skype. Okay, sign in. Skype. Mary.Sutherland.57. I haven't lost it, darn it. Mary.Sutherland. 57. Next. And I just enter the password. and then 24. Let's do the wrong one. That's wrong. Okay, well, well, rats. Okay. Okay, I see what I did wrong. Let's hold on. This is not turning out the way. This is not turning out as easy as I was hoping. Okay. Well, I hope you guys are patient. Everybody just kind of get to know each other, okay? I should have had this done before, right? Oh. Sorry about this. Well, Lisa, this is my Skype. Or wait, no, here, let's just do it like, let's see. I'm a thinking here. Let's, as soon as, Keegan gets on, let's hope that Keegan can call me at, or Skype me at this. That's my Skype name. Okay, and I'm doing something wrong. Well, you know what I'm doing wrong? I forgot my password. Ain't that a bummer? I'll try it one more time. Okay. Let's see. Cross your fingers. Ta-da! What is this? Okay. Let's see. Swipe me up, color your world. I don't want any of that stuff. I just want Keegan. Swipe me up. What is this? Okay. There we go. There we go. See? Oopsie. Oh, I gotta answer it. Hello? Keegan, are you there? Hold on. For some reason, you're not coming in very clear. Can you hear me? I can see you, but can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me? Oh, you sound terrible. Let's see, how can we do this while you're not sounding so...
You call me directly on Facebook.
Can I do that? Okay.
Yeah. Just go into the chat message part.
Okay, hold on.
If I'll call you on it. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, you're starting to sound okay now. Okay. So anyhow, he said that I go back to this. Yeah, okay. Hopefully we can do it this way. There we go. Okay, loading. There's Keegan. Can you hear me, Keegan?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yes, we're good. Okay, so I'm going to cancel out this Skype thing, okay? And we got you on, okay, so we've got you on Facebook Live. Okay. Okay, so,
Hello, everybody.
here's something, okay, so hold on, Keegan. This is Keegan Reid. He has Understanding Sasquatch. As a matter of fact, I'm a moderator in his group as well. But here, hold on.
We would like to thank you for listening to another episode of Understanding Sasquatch, where high strangeness intersects with understanding. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as we take you deep into the mysteries of the Sasquatch people.
Now this, I thought I'd give you a little lead in there. How did that sound? Did you hear it at all?
Great.
Okay, so
Yeah, I can hear it.
so for the people that are listening, they're just starting to come in now. But I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit what's going on. Like I said, in the end days, all things shall be revealed. But the end days, it means the end of the old prophecy. Somehow I'm getting some feedback from you, Keegan. So all things are revealed. Now, okay, so as when it comes to Sasquatch, a lot of there's two different. Well, actually, there's three different groups, probably even more. But one is a group that I try to stay away from because they're all about greed. They're all about ratings, and whatever it takes, they do with regardless of regardless of the Sasquatch or the Bigfoot known by many. There's groups out there that actually and television shows that actually encourage killing Bigfoot. There's fear groups out there that push people into such fear that they're afraid to even go into the national parks without carrying guns. And we've talked about this before on the show. And to me, when I go into a national park, the last thing I want to do is come in, meet somebody carrying some sort of a semi-automatic weapon, looking for Bigfoot. To me, they're paranoid. They're just not thinking right. And they're not out there that like Keegan and myself, that we and a lot of you that's out there that we love the hairy people, and we have a lot of respect for them, and we're out there trying to educate people as to who they are and a wide berth, where they're like anything else there, including us. When our territory has been invaded, there is a chance that we would stand up and say, hey, get the heck out of here. You're not welcome to come into our home. But that doesn't give us any right to hurt them, no more than it gives somebody coming into our house the right to hurt us because we kicked them out. And then there's and then there's another group that I don't think that they even really believe in what they are writing about or talking about on their shows. They're just basically in there because they've looked up, they've targeted their market. They've seen that there's a lot of interest in Bigfoot, And so they start doing their own thing without any showing any respect, or actually even uh, talking and writing correctly on what's really going on in the Bigfoot field. Now, this is why I brought Keegan in, because last year, I've been living here for about 2.5 years, so it was after we had moved in here. I had gotten a call. What's the guy's name, Keegan? David Politis, right? Is that?
David Polite.
David Politis. Okay. So anyhow, I had received a telephone call from him on his book Missing 411, where he had accused me of a show or saying something about or saying something against his book. And he was quite upset about it and asked me if I'd even read his books, and I says no. And he says, well, why are you bad mouthing my books? And I says, I'm not. He says, well, certain people told me you were. And I says, well, then, they gave you the wrong information, because I says, I haven't read your book. I says, I've listened to a couple of your shows, but I says, I really don't know too much about it. But then when but now he's got my interest up, because, the telephone conversation was quite quick. I thought he was quite strange, because I'm an author, and I know that that there's a lot of different views on my books, but I would make it a habit of, anytime somebody said something negative about one of my books, I wouldn't be looking up their telephone number and giving them a call, and saying something that, strange. So anyhow, but because of it, he kind of, he got my interest. So I started listening to some of his shows, and I noticed that he never concluded, after all these years, he's never given any conclusion as to what his determination is as far as why these people are missing or come up missing in these national parks. And so it was like, basically, if he was on a UFO show, he gives the impression that it was aliens. If he was on a cryptid show, he gives the impression it was either a dogman or a Bigfoot. But he never quite concluded as to what it is. He always kind of left that his determination open. So you couldn't really pinpoint him to anything. So it's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none, as far as I was concerned. So anyhow, I've been leery of him, because basically what happens with somebody like that is he creates a lot of fear. And when people become fearful, they become dangerous sometimes. And so, but I've kind of kept it, I've brought it up in the show a few different times, but Keegan Reid, he has his show, Understanding Sasquatch, and he had a little run-in with this David Politis. And so I wanted to have Keegan on to tell all of us what's going on with this deal that you have going, this, like, kind of, not really so much a feud, but you have discovered you don't feel comfortable with this man either. I pick up from the show that you did the other night or last week. Do you want to tell us what's going on?
I just recently made a video on I'm turning down my volume here. I made a video on my YouTube channel called Understanding Sasquatch, where I talked about some of the things that had come up with David Politis, and I definitely caught him in a series of lies. And that kind of surprised me a little bit, because I wasn't expecting to have this kind of negative exchange with him. And I found him to be very evasive and non-direct. I gave him my phone number. I never had his phone number, so I never tried to call him. So it wasn't like I was harassing him by trying to call him or anything just, there was a person that I was working with in the early part of Understanding Sasquatch that had suggested, hey, we should interview David Blighties, and I got his phone number, I'll give him a call. I said, sure, go for it. So this individual gave David a call, and he said, I don't do interviews on Bigfoot. And in which case he responded to me, this was in July of last year, of 2016. And I thought that was a little odd because after he made that reply, he also wrote back to me in a message on Facebook Messenger and said the same, that I don't do interviews on Bigfoot. And so essentially he just kind of told me to go jump in a lake. And I guess the thing was that he didn't think the person that had asked him had any credibility or was a reliable person. He felt this person was a liar. And so I guess somehow that was a reflection on me. And so I'm guessing that his conclusions were based on his vantage point of me having a connection with this person who he felt like was a complete bald-faced liar. And so, at any rate, I went ahead and reached out to him. I'm no longer in communication with this person that he had a problem with. So I thought I'd reach out to him again, and I thought that the outcome would be positive. I don't know. I'm somewhat skeptical, but I'm generally an optimist. And I know that I'm a very forthright guy. I'm an honest guy, and I speak from my heart. And sometimes that gets me in trouble. But I do speak from my heart. And so I contacted him, and I said that I would like to interview him. And more or less, he just kind of said the same thing. I don't do interviews about Bigfoot. And he just danced around not wanting to have an interview with me. And I gave him my phone number. I said, it's a lot more efficient if we could just talk on the phone. We could just have a conversation. I just would like to have a polite conversation with you. That's all. And he wouldn't do it. He just refused. And he just, in the process of this exchange, which took place over the course of primarily of this Friday and Sunday, the dates closest to the weekend of 8/20, the weekend of 8/20/2017. On that Friday and that Sunday, closest to that date, was where I had most of my exchange with him. And he would only write to me on Facebook Messenger. So he wouldn't call me. And then, so I kind of had made a post, I'd like to go toe-to-toe with David Blighties and have a direct conversation with him about forest people. Well, he didn't like that. He ended up reading that. Somebody had prompted him that I had made a Facebook post. In which case, he kind of came back at me and said that was very aggressive and manipulative, and I would never do an interview with anyone that is so, trying to manipulate the dialogue or whatever. So, to appease his feelings, I just deleted the post from my pages of my groups, and I just said, I'll make whatever compensation is necessary that I think we owe it to my audience and to your audience to have a discussion. And essentially, this is where things got weird. At the very close of our discussion on Sunday, I think that would be the 20th of 2017, he said, I had reached out to you in regard to your lies in the past. And I was left dumbfounded because he had never reached out to me. The only communication that we have ever had was when I had reached out to him to have an interview on Understanding Sasquatch. So here he is accusing me of lies, saying that he had reached out to me in the past, which he never did. In addition, as soon as I made this Facebook post, a lot of our mutual friends, got like 30 or so in common, reached out and said, Vicky was one, Kimberly was one. Vicky is actually an admin in the Sasquatch Bigfoot research group as well, or moderator. And she said, Keegan, David's saying to me in private message, whatever, that you have him blocked and that he can't respond to you. Well, the funny thing was, I had already been in chat with David for multiple exchanges before this communication ever took place. And then a actually interviewed on the show, her name is Kimberly Kalani. She reached out to me and she said that David told her the same thing, that he couldn't reply to my post, that I had him blocked, and he couldn't reach out to me. So this was some kind of excuse that he was using to people that we knew mutually to say that I had him blocked. Really, I mean, the guy started out just painting me as a villain, Mary.
Yeah.
And it really honestly made no sense to me. It was very confusing. And at a certain point, I ended up just getting angry. And I just told the guy to fuck off. And I think I told him to fuck off numerous times, actually. I'm usually a very nice guy. I'm honestly a very easy guy to get along with. But the things that he was saying and the way that he was tiptoeing around and being so evasive eventually just totally pissed me off. And I just found the guy to be completely rude. I thought he was a cocky jackass, and I thought he was a jerk. And so, you know, my experience with him accusing me of being a liar, which every person that knows me knows that I am adamant about people telling the truth. And I apply that same pressure to myself. And so, you know, when he accused me of being a liar, it was instantly that he was trying to somehow discredit me over nothing. One, he said that he had reached out to me in the past over lies that I had shared. Never had. Two, that he had reached out to me at all. He never had, only in response to me reaching out to him. And so I didn't understand why this guy is a liar. I didn't understand why he would be a liar. And I didn't understand why he has written 2 books on the forest people and yet doesn't want to do any interviews with them about me. Now, I guess his claim is that he never does an interview about Bigfoot anymore.
Well, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Then, if that's the case, then we hear him on Coast to Coast and various other shows actually blaming that the possibility of Bigfoot being the ones that are taking these children and people in the national forests.
Well, that's what I concluded too. And I addressed him on that. I said, you know, I know that you've got a lot of your traction on Coast to Coast. And from what I can tell, and I'm not quoting myself verbatim, because I did cover our exact conversation in the video that I posted up on my YouTube channel called Understanding Sasquatch, which I apologize to the audience. I used a lot of colorful language. Not normally my style, but I did. And I called him, you know, some very colorful language names. But, you know, the thing is that I wanted to have dialogue with this guy, and it seemed to me like he was just trying to get me to become enraged, which I did. Because when people call me a liar, that's slander.
Right.
That's slander. And legally, I probably could sue him.
Well, so let's stop right there. When you put yourself in the public eye, then it's a little bit more difficult to do. If you were a private citizen and these people were saying that, then you probably would have more of a case. But once we put ourselves in the public eye, we kind of put ourselves out there for people to slander, unfortunately. But seems to me, like I said, I also had him actually call me based on the fact that he had heard, now he never gave me names, he just said he had heard several people tell him that I had been talking against his book. And what the only conclusion I could draw with this whole thing was that he is very paranoid. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was for the fact that, okay, all right. So anyhow, I came up with the conclusion that the man is paranoid as well. I'm getting a telephone call from somebody. Do you know who? Oh, I think I got disconnected from Keegan. Okay, hold on. So anyhow, we got Keegan back. Okay, Keegan, are you back now? Keegan? Keegan. Oh, you're connecting. There you are again. So anyhow, my conclusion was that he also, my conclusion is that he also is paranoid. Why, I don't know. But it seems like you're not the only one that has gone through, you know, this with this gentleman, so-called author. And it seems that his base, he gets a lot of this through coast to coast. He likes to stick with people he knows, that he feels safe around. But he does not seem to want to put his neck out, especially with you. One of the people that was listening to the show, Lori, said that it was probably based on the fact that he feared your knowledge. He was, you know, because you know, and I think that a lot of these things from I've heard, I question a lot of things that I've heard on various interviews that he's given, and it's it's gotten to the point with this missing 411. People are actually afraid to even go out into the national camp or parks, to to enjoy a weekend, and I don't think that is right, but I'm so glad that you brought this to my attention, and I think that our listening audience is also happy over the fact that you brought it to their attention too. Sometimes people out there, we put them on a pedestal because we've heard about them and everybody else is talking about how great they are and things like that, and so all of a sudden they become, in the public's mind, they put them on this pedestal. They're the leading experts, but when it comes to us researchers, we're listening and we're coming up with our own opinions, and I think that as much as you've been out there in the woods with Bigfoot, and the research that you're done, you're probably one of the more leading experts with Bigfoot, and you've made friends with the Bigfoot. You do your gifting with them. They leave you gifts back. I've seen this. I've seen your photographs that you've done, and I know that your heart is really out there trying to protect them. And we just wanted to let you know that you're one of the people that we support, because we're the same type of people. And I think we lost, hold on. So anyhow, we just wanted to give you our support. Alrighty?
I appreciate the support, that's for sure. It looks like we're going to have to talk audio only because Facebook's kicking us if we try to do video.
Right. Is that what the problem is? We've been
Yeah, I think it's probably just the sheer fact that we're having a conversation on this is probably we're going to get booted a whole bunch of times.
Sure.
But yeah, I do appreciate the support. It's been challenging, and the guy doesn't owe me anything.
No.
He does not owe me an interview.
No.
The thing is that when people start getting into territory of accusing someone of being a liar, which I'm not, that's where you are treading on legal ramifications, potentially. I don't know that I'm interested in pressing a lawsuit or anything like that right off the bat, but if I continued to have exchanges with the guy that were problematic in that way, if I saw that he was continuing to slander me, then I would consult with my attorney.
Yeah.
But I'm not a passive guy. I'm not going to lay down and just let somebody call me a liar and just let it slide. So that's why I made the video and put it up on my channel called Understanding Sasquatch. Yeah, David has a huge following. I mean, the abuse that I've taken since I put that up has been pretty extraordinary. But I'm not taking it down because I want people to know. I don't care if it's popular or not. The perception is that David is a hero. He's an ex-cop. He's a hero.
Well, the thing is with ex-cops, I mean, come on. I mean, we have friends that are ex-cops. A lot of our listeners are ex-cops and cops right now. They're just people, and that's their particular profession. But that doesn't put him over and above anybody else's intelligence.
That's right. Unfortunately, people don't see it that way because, you know, he is cast as kind of a hero, bringing out this information on the missing 411. And honestly, I was talking with Andy Coleman yesterday. You know, we were playing a little game. Is this person a spook? Is this person not a spook? And you know, one of the things that you know, we were just, of course, playing a game, quote unquote. But it's pretty obvious that David's not on the up and up.
Yeah, I question a lot in his book, and the thing that really bothers me, Keegan, is it just encourages more people to join into the other group that encourages people to kill Bigfoot. And I'm not happy about that. I mean, the forest is their home. Basically, they're kind of protected through the national, the national park system, and I can totally understand why they're not giving this information out to David or anybody else. They may not say that there's a Bigfoot, and that's okay because there are people out there that would try to kill or do harm to them. So I'm kind of glad that the National Forest Department doesn't tell everybody about it. And so I know that he's disturbed over the fact that the National Forest Department doesn't release information to him. But I mean, hey, the dude puts on one shoe at a time, just like all of us, And so, there's a lot of places I go to try to get information, and I don't get it. I'm always happy when I get it, but if I don't get it, I don't go on coast to coast and run down the whole national park system because of it. He needs to kind of back down a little bit on that because, he talks about the national park not giving him names, of missing people. Well, these national parks, they have local towns. They have local sheriff's departments. He could just as easily be getting the names from the local law enforcement. He doesn't need to interfere with the national park and how they do their business. I mean, that stuff, if a child comes up missing, anybody comes up missing, that's for public record, but he's just basically going to the wrong place to get the information, thinking that they have to bow to him because, he's the author of Missing 411. So,
exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with you with that.
But but it's great PR, it's great PR. Because you see that, I'm sure, a lot by listening to a lot of these shows where they're always saying, well, government's after them, or, the police shot at me, or they're trying to shut me up because I'm getting too close to the information. It's exciting. People buy into it, and because of it, they buy into their books. And I'm seeing a lot of that, as far as what he says about the national park. Because, you know yourself, Keegan, that if with you do not tell people exactly where Bigfoot are located. Your Bigfoot. Same way with me, the Bigfoot.
Very, very rare.
Yeah, and same way with me. Most people that have had encounters with Bigfoot do not tell people. They'll tell them the general location, but they don't tell them the exact location. Because they want to enjoy their family, their newfound families. They want to gift, and get to know the Bigfoot better. They don't want them shot, and they don't want military to come in and round them all up and use them, for some sort of experiment. So I think that a lot of us do protect them. But then people like David and a bunch of those other ones, they'll come back and they'll do broadcasts on radio and they'll say, well, I had all this information. The information's there, but these people, they will not tell me, you know, and so
Yeah.
they pump the listener up. And then the next thing you know, you got the listener upset with the National Park Service, or or whoever, or people like you. They're asking questions. People like me that may have referred, that may have kind of been a little critical of his book. You know, it's just a game that they play. For ratings. And I see it a lot, and I'm
Not
sure
only
you
that,
see it a lot too.
they have an agenda to destroy people's credibility that are having any kind of dialogue that's different from the one that they want to get
Oh,
promoted. And so, I did accuse him of, treating the forest people as monsters. I did
yeah.
accuse him of being at the Woodhead camp, and well, he didn't like that, but he won't say otherwise.
Well, that's okay. So he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
You gotta turn your speaker down a little bit, where I'm getting
Okay.
feedback. I mean, he has a right to his own opinion, but we also have the right to our opinion and based on what we think is going on as well.
Yeah.
And if he can't deal with that, well, I mean, que sera, right? But
Exactly.
he,
Well, I do appreciate that you're bringing it to light. I think it's an important thing, and all we can do is just kind of keep plugging away. And that's what I intend on doing. Hopefully, eventually, more people will find understanding Sasquatch, and really, it's only for those that really want to know the truth, and those that want to try to build a relationship with forest people versus hunting them and trying to kill them. So, that's kind of my mission objective, is just to help bring that other layer of information forward. And believe me, it's not a small task. It's a very burdensome job.
yeah, I'm kind of going through it myself with trying to preserve the ancient earthen mounds.
Yeah.
People just want it. I don't know what it is, if it's human nature or what, but I don't think it really is human nature. I think we like to blame it on human nature. But I think most of us, if we understand the situation, respects it. But there's these elitists out there, these people well, they're just so wrapped up in their own greed that in selfishness that they don't care who they destroy or what they destroy in their process of getting ahead. So
Yeah, it's a pretty frustrating journey, and in the long run, I think that the reward will be there, and the reward will be that the truth is told about the forest people, and those that are sincere about wanting to form a relationship with them will hopefully bridge that gap and begin to have a relationship. I love the relationship that I have with the forest people that interact with me, and I think they're wonderful and extraordinary. I'm not saying that all of them are loving, but apparently the ones that I interact with seem to really care about me. So, I can't speak for everybody else's experiences, but I can speak for my own. And so, when I was hearing David, through a lot of his shows and after listening to a lot of his interviews where he did talk about Bigfoot, it really kind of raised an alarm for me that the work that I'm doing is even that much more important that you're doing and that many others are doing. So, I just want to kind of throw my hat in the ring and try to do what I can to bring as much truth forward as possible. I don't have a big audience. I only have a couple thousand followers on YouTube, and I'm a very, very small fish in the pond when it comes to the forest people and research and experiencing with them. And so I'm just going to keep doing my best. I plan on probably doing this for the rest of my life. There are the things that I do as well. I'm a businessman. I'm a business developer. I'm an entrepreneur. I work from home, and I'm always working on a project. The next thing I'm getting ready to launch is like a gaming channel where I talk about tabletop gaming. That'll give me something to do on the 6 months that I don't want to go out in the woods, and give me something constructive to focus in on. But it looks like I'm kind of having some internet connections on my side, so I'm going to have to bow out here, Mary.
okay.
But thank you for everything that you're doing, and thank you for bringing things to light, and I hope that you'll be able to share with more people about David.
Well, it's not so much my fight. It's just we need now to expose the lies and inform people of what Bigfoot is really about, or anything is really all about, so that when they make their decisions, they have both stories, you know.
Absolutely.
And so, regardless of how many followers you have, what is important to me is your heart, and your heart is in the right place. And always know that as long as your heart's in that place, I'll always be there to support you in your work.
Well, thank you, and I do try to do everything out of love, but I got that warrior side too, and I know that I try to keep my cool as much as possible. It's not easy to do all the time. So you'll notice my most recent video that I posted up on YouTube is a little bit unlike me because I was so angry, but I'm still going to leave it up because I want people to hear the information.
Well, you got my attention.
What's that?
You got my attention.
Well,
and you're on my show right now. So
yes. Well,
yeah.
I thank you, and I love you for what you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing, Mary. I'm going to try to reboot my computer and see if I can get this thing to work properly.
Okay. Well, thank you for being out there fighting for our hairy friends. Okay. Okay.
My pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being a moderator in my group and helping me get out the word.
Okay. Catch you later.
Bye, Mary.
Bye, Keegan. Well, that was Keegan Reid, and as you can, I came across him. I don't know. It's been a year, 2 years ago, but anyhow, I really liked him, and we ended up, sharing posts back and forth, and I support him, and I'm one of the moderators on his site, in his group, and I like what he's doing. And yeah, he gets a little hostile every once in a while, but I mean, that's his heart working for him, And you got your male way of doing things, and you got your female ways of doing things. How I just try to, the feminine way is kind of like a softer version, and but God bless him for what he's trying to do. We need people out there to protect the Bigfoot. And I've never had anything negative. I've come across them, and I've never had anything negative happen to me either. As a matter of fact, there's been several different times that they've stepped in to protect me. So I'm more, on board with the way Keegan has to feels about them. I mean, they're having a hard enough time as it is, as urban and suburban life encroaches upon their territory. They got to move farther and farther back. But and so it's probably very difficult for them to raise a family anymore compared to the way it used to be. So I don't really want to make it any more difficult than it already is for them. But there was another thing, again, why I'm showing this is because, like I said, in the end times, the beginning of the new, things will be, the best thing for you to do is just be honest. Because if you're not, your lies will be exposed. That was prophesied by Christ himself. So, so this is what our show now is going to be like. I mean, we're going to be talking about, the Bigfoot, UFOs, dimensional travel, everything actually. And if we see something as being dishonest, or we will try to expose that as well. So not only are we having difficulty here, as you've seen with Keegan, but there was I had Lisa was going to be on the show today too, but she'll have to do it tomorrow because she developed an earache. But we were going to talk about Doreen Virtue. Now, you know that Doreen Virtue has been in the business and actually makes and sells tarot cards, and has and she has these classes where everybody pays an enormous amount of money to be this class, Then if you finish the class, you became one of Doreen's angels. And you get a little certificate, and, and you'd use that, various people would use that, go out and read tarot as one of Doreen's, her angels. But word came through today. Now, she's made millions of dollars off this. And word came through to me today that Doreen just gave it all up. She hasn't really explained herself as to why or anything, except that she don't believe in it anymore. Apparently, she's gone to the old Christian ways, and so there's been kind of a stir in the neighborhood on this, because how can you, after all those years, knowing and teaching spirituality, being able to communicate with the universe, being able to actually design and sell tarot cards, because once you've experienced spirituality, as it is, I could never go back to my old Christian beliefs. I believe in Jesus Christ and what Jesus taught, because that was pretty much the way I look at things too. God is love, love is God, but that the temple is within, and that you can communicate with the other side. But for some reason, she's just walked away from it. And so I was going to use this time to now have Lisa get on, because Lisa is a medium, and I was going to talk to her following Keegan, where she talked about what happened with Doreen Virtue and why she stepped away, because that's very unusual. Is it where maybe the money isn't there anymore? I don't know. If it is that case, then that would be not very good for Doreen Virtue or her angels or anybody else that has followed her through the years. I just, like I said, we'll be talking about that tomorrow, because I really wanted to have Lisa voice her opinion on this as well. But what I'll be doing with this is, here, let me see, I don't know. What I'll do with this is put the website up where, that talks about her leaving, leaving the community, and apparently taking her money with her. So, yeah, it's very sad as far as I'm concerned. But that's the reason I have always tried to teach self-empowerment, because you cannot put people on such a pedestal that you don't think for yourself. You need to learn how to think for yourself, how to read your own body, how to communicate through your heart, through common sense. You can't give that away to somebody else, because if that you find out later on in the years that they don't even believe in what they're teaching, let alone has taken all this money from you. I mean, it leaves you in a state of bewilderment, a state of being lost. I mean, if you can't trust these people that you have given your loyalty through the years, then you have to you question who you are. What is true? What do you believe in? And you have to realize that there are, and I've always said this, there are shysters out there. There are charlatans out there. And you have to, that's why you have to learn how to discern the spirit. Why you have to learn how to body dowse. And how to be able to read your own body. If it stiffens up, it means you know that there's something wrong with that person. If you're totally relaxed and you're happy with these people, it's probably a people that you should be with because your body has accepted them. The body is part of your higher self. It's that communicator, you know, that the Holy Spirit communicates with the body. The body puts out certain messages, signals, to keep you from falling into these pits that the greedy ones have put out. You have to be careful about, you can't believe everything you hear on TV. Um, you know, who are we at war with? Why are we at war with them? Who should you like? Who shouldn't you like? Who should be president? Who should not be president? You know, they're all games being played. You have to be able to, you can't be like a hermit and leave yourself stuck in the, you know, put yourself in the cave. Because, I mean, you've come to this earth to experience life. And you're here for a purpose. You may not know what that purpose is, but you sure the heck don't need somebody else telling you what it is. You need to learn for yourself and be able to think for yourself, react for yourself. It's a plain simple matter of survival. You can't, even talking with God, you know, you have to learn how to discern that spirit. Is it really God you're speaking to? Or is it really an angel you're speaking to? Or a person that you love that has crossed over? Are you really speaking to that person? Or are you being tricked into thinking that it is that person, that angel, that God or goddess? You have to learn, it is so important to learn to discern spirit. Because remember, the devil is 99% truth and 1% trickery. And that 1% is what causes your problems in life. You just have to be so careful. I fall for it. I've been, I've been doing this for almost close to 2 decades. So, I mean, I've fallen for a lot of people telling me certain things and me believing in it because I want to believe so much. And then later on, instead of me listening to my body, I chose not to and listen to them due to friendship or, partnership or, family, friendship, whatever. But later on regretted it. But I've always learned from it. So it's okay. It's like the toddler weren't learning how to walk. It's okay to fall down as long as you get up and take another step. It's when you stay down then you've given up. That's when you cease to learn. You have to get up. And you can't allow yourself to get overwhelmed with too much information coming at you. Take it one step at a time. Learn. Experience. Make mistakes. And learn from those mistakes. But never put anybody on a pedestal. It's like Doreen Virtue, there was so many things that she said, well, I shouldn't go into it because that's up to Lisa. I'm going to leave that for Lisa. We keep quiet until tomorrow. But I know that probably David Paulette's, I can't even pronounce it, David, the author for Missing 411. I'm sure that this is going to get back to about this show. I have no doubts about it, but I feel secure in the knowing that I shared this information with all of you. You can, you know, what's going on. It's your choice of what to believe and what not to believe. If I said, I want you to believe in what Keegan said because we're exposing him for what he is, then I wouldn't be any better than Doreen, Virtue, or, you know, or any of those guys that are all of a sudden saying, hey, I'm done with it. See you guys. I got the money. I'm off and running. I decided to be a Christian after all. You know, I want you guys to figure it out for yourself. But you can't figure anything out for yourself if you're not getting the information. So we'll do book reviews, and we'll discuss the authors and the legitimacy of their research, as well as we'll have other radio show hosts on, you know, to give their opinions. I'm willing to stick my neck out. I'm not afraid. You know, I mean, I feel I'm protected. As long as I stay in truth, I should be, I'm pretty sure, well, no, as long as I stay in truth, I am protected. It's when you start stepping out of the truth and stepping into the shadows, that's when you can be attacked. And there's a lot of people out there right now that's promoting the idea that it is okay to lie. It's okay to cheat and to steal, you know, in various ways. It's okay to use other people's work and put your name to it, plagiarize other people's work, you know, but it's not. But this is what the dark side is trying to do right now, is they're trying to normalize something that should not be normal. It is not okay to lie. It is not okay to cheat. It is not okay to steal. And there is no to normalize it, they're trying to say that this is how you make money. You have to stretch this truth. You have to lie. You know, you have to create events like the government's chasing after me or shot at me and my life is in danger because I'm getting too close to the truth. That's not okay to say it. It will sell books. Yes, you will make money. Yes, doing it. But you've also stepped out of the circle of truth and you're stepping into the shadows. And only in those shadows are you going to find the pitfalls of hell. And you go deep enough in there and you won't be able to get back out again. So let's not normalize things that we know in our heart should not be normalized. That is the end of my show for today. Tonight we have Trump going to Phoenix, and I guess we're going to see what happens there. But there's another one too. People, they're being forced to take a stand. Are you for Trump or are you against Trump? The only one you're for is love. You know? That's normal. But if somebody's out there forcing you to follow somebody else and you know in your heart of hearts that they are not good for you, then you have to stand back and don't cross that line and normalize it. You just stay with who you are. Stay with your soul, you know, and learn from these shows that I'm doing now. And go to my groups and learn from my groups. And I promise you, I will try. I will do everything I can to help you be able to be self-empowered. I'm not. I have a very good reputation out there. I don't know of anybody that has ever encountered me that has ever said that I lie. I may get disinformed on certain things, and I may say something due to disinformation, but if I do, I correct it, and people know about it. I am working with you. I am working for universal peace and exposure of the dark side. You know, so as far as, I don't know, Robert Mulder says, I say give the guy a chance. He's there. I don't know who the guy is that you're referring to, though, Robert. I say give both of those guys a chance. You know, or, you know, so, I mean, the only thing, and if you're talking about Trump, I do give him a chance. Because if I hadn't given him I give him a chance, and I pray every night that God will come and correct his soul so that he is able to have empathy, sympathy for somebody besides himself. I believe that he has the qualities that could make, if he was given a heart and was touched by God, that he has the ability to be a great president. So far that hasn't happened, but I still do pray for him every night that he does find that God source within him, and to become, instead of a dark soul, be a soul working for the light. That is what I pray for, and so I do give him a chance. If you're talking about Pilatus and missing 411, I also pray for people like that too. I mean, you know, I mean, we can't condemn, but that doesn't, just because we can't condemn doesn't mean we got to lay down with him either. You lay down with dogs, you come up with fleas. Personally, you know, I don't like fleas. So, you know, but I say follow your own path. I say that make your own decisions in life. I should not be the one that tells you what to think. But I will always encourage you to follow the right path. And I will teach you as to how you can do it. But in the end, it's up to you. You're going to feel good about being around me, listening to my shows, and reading my posts, or you don't. It's okay by me. I mean, we have that choice. We should have that choice. God gave us free will, so we have to learn how to use it. But we do have to learn how to use it, because most of us do not. Our minds are so fogged from the conditionings through the generations that most of us have no idea of what life really is. So give love a chance, right? So it's okay. Tomorrow we're going to discuss a little bit on Doreen Virtue and what happened with her, that she gave up her career and her teachings to become a Christian. I guess that's what she's calling herself. I'm not sure. But we'll get more to the story tomorrow. Thank you, Robert Mulder. Robert says, we know you work very hard to convey good things. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know, yes, I'm very opinionated. But that's because I'm self-empowered. The thing I want from all of you is to be just as opinionated as me. Just as empowered as I am. That's all I ask. So if I come across and I say different things, I want you to stand up to me and say, hey, I think that there's another side of the story, Mary. Or I don't feel this way towards that person, Mary. When you do, it's showing me that you're thinking for yourself. And that's always a good thing, right? So, I mean, blast me. If you want to blast me, you blast me. And hopefully I've got an open mind enough, and I've had my Cheerios for the day, that I can hear you say that and actually say, well, thank you. You know, tell me your story. Give me your opinion. And as long as I've had my coffee, because remember, this show is what is it? Let's talk about it over a cup of coffee with Mary Sutherland. We're doing okay. I think we're in, since the eclipse, we are in a new era. There has been a birth. Like I said, I don't think that it'll come to full term for another 7 years, but the baby is born. The Christ child is born. The embodiment of Christ is born. Every day it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and more and more and more people of the darkness will be exposed as to who they are. And the people of light will also be exposed. And we will find self-empowerment. We will walk away from the fear and the programming and all that. Because we haven't even seen how good life can be. We read about it, we imagine it. But if the prophecy is true, the promises of Christ are true, this is the time that love comes in. And hate, it is set aside for 1,000 years or something like that. I don't know. But I'm hopeful. I still have that belief that there is good out there, that there is love out there. And who knows? So anyhow, love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. We're going to be doing these shows Monday through Friday. And don't forget, I'm also doing that show, Eyes in the Night, where we do those at night, and they're based on interviews from my radio show, BUFO Radio. So, and we're kind of running a little overtime right now because I kind of wanted to have these like hour shows. So I'm not going to do any readings unless somebody really, really, really wants a reading. I'll watch and see. And if you really, really, truly, truly want a reading, I'll give you one. But otherwise, we'll just kind of put it off until tomorrow. Okay. Sorry for the... oh, yes. There's something... tomorrow I'll have to do it. But I do free giveaways in the group. Sometimes sometimes you sign up for maybe a book that I've written. Now this month it was a 40-inch inflatable alien doll, and so there is a winner. And tomorrow I will announce the winner, and we'll be sending it to you. Okay? So whoever, but like I said, we'll wait until tomorrow. We gotta go with some of the good things, leave them for later, okay? And so we'll have our free giveaway tomorrow, and we'll be able to talk to Lisa and talk a little bit more about Doreen Virtue. But one thing, and it's the same way with police. We have, even though they may not stand up to other people's standards, we have to realize that through the years we have learned a lot from them. There's a lot of disinformation, but if we're intelligent enough, we can read past the disinformation, and learn from it. And I think that I've learned a lot from Doreen Virtue. I use their messages from the angels every day. And of course, I have learned from her. So, and it is her choice in life if she doesn't believe in what she has been doing for all these years. Like I said, I don't understand it, but it's her choice in life. And I thank her for the years that she has dedicated to all of us. to teach us. But just because she's not there anymore does not mean that the stuff was all lies. She may not have believed in what she was saying, but what she was saying, the universe could have been using her as a tool to get this information out. And now her time is over, her as an instrument where she'd be able to go back and do whatever she wants to do. So everybody has a purpose in life, but we really do need to. We can't follow our path. We can't achieve our purpose if we're given disinformation. And so that I think that is a good base for us to build this show on. Some people will like what we have to say, and then there'll be others that don't. And I have to learn a little bit using Skype. And today we found out that we could use we could go with what was it, Facebook chat. That worked out better even than Skype. So anyhow, eventually I'll get it right. Just bear with me. But the information I give you, take away the technology part of it, I think that the information I'm giving you is going to be good information that you'll be able to use. So anyhow, God bless all of you guys. It's I'm sure I have dinner waiting for me downstairs. Oh, by the way, my co-host, he's sitting right here with me. Hold on. Come on. Come on, baby. Here's our co-host, Max. Here he goes. Anyhow, it's Max and me saying goodbye for the day. Say goodbye, Maxie. Say goodbye. Not to me, but to the people. Okay, you know that they're watching you. You know. Oh, look at him. He's bored. He's so bored. But anyhow, good night, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, or talk with you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, okay? Thank you for listening today and for being patient with me. Again, God bless.